What's up, y'all? Marley Cross 316 back with another comic book flashback. And today we are looking at the Amazing Spider-Man Annual Number 3. This issue came out in November of 1966, and we have an exciting story for y'all today. We have Spider-Man going one-on-one with the Incredible Hulk, and we also have the Avengers making a guest appearance in this book. An exciting story today. Will Spider-Man become an Avenger? That's what we're going to focus on today. But before we get started, we got to give credit where credit is due. And so we have on this spectacular issue today, we have Stan Lee, who's writing this issue, John Romita doing the layouts, we have Donnie Heck doing the penciling, we have Mickey DeMeo doing the inking, and then the adorable Artie Simek doing the lettering page. And so we start out the issue right here, right off the bat. We have the Avengers. They are in their briefing room, and they are trying to decide whether they want Spider-Man to join the Avengers. Now, we learn in this issue that they need another member for the Avengers because we have Thor and Iron Man here who are on their separate missions. They're always being busy doing things with their own lives. And so when you have Thor and Iron Man always absent from the team, you know you need to have another member on the team to fill in the spots. And also, we have during this time period as well Scarlet Witch and the Vision, and they are in Europe at the time. And so, again, you have four members of the Avengers who are oftentimes vacant from the team. And so, this is why they are considering Spider Man joining the team. And so, the big question is, will Spider Man agree to joining the Avengers? They all are pretty confident in Spider-Man joining the Avengers, except for the Wasp. The Wasp has never really trusted Spider-Man, and she's going to have to really see if he can cope with the rest of the team members. And so, will Spider-Man join the Avengers? We're going to find out in this issue. But the main thing we need to focus on here is how are they going to contact Spider-Man? And they also want to put Spider-Man through a test. And if Spider-Man can pass this test, he will become a full-fledged member of the Avengers. And so the first task they have to do is figure out how they can find more information on Spider-Man. So they're like, who can we contact who knows enough information about Spider-Man? Well, how about Daredevil? We recall from issue number 16 of The Amazing Spider-Man that Daredevil and Spider-Man teamed up together to fight the Ringmaster. And then just previously in 1966, Daredevil and Spider-Man also came into contact with each other in Daredevil issues number 16 and 17. And so the Avengers get a hold of Daredevil here, and Daredevil pretty much answers them by saying, you know what, I fought side by side with Spider-Man. I think he is a great person. I think he's a great crime fighter. I trust him 100%. And Captain America is like, you know what, that's all we needed to hear. And so now, the biggest task of all, getting a hold of Spider-Man. So what did they do? They have all the Avengers. We have Thor. We have Iron Man. They're all on the search of trying to find Spider-Man. Hawkeye is trying to find Spider-Man. So this is pretty cool. We're going to see just the Avengers trying to track down Spider-Man. And so we see how Giant Man and the Wasp, they're blocking traffic. This is pretty cool. And of course, Spider-Man's attention is shown here. Spider-Man notices that he is being pretty much looked for, and so Spider-Man leaps back down, and then lo and behold, he is found by the Thor. Thor, God of Thunder, finds Spider-Man on a rooftop, tries to reason with Spider-Man, said, basically saying that, you know what, we want you to become an Avenger. What do you say? Spider-Man pretty much responds by saying, you know what, I've always been a loner, and, I've never really considered joining a crime fighting team. I've always done things on my own. And so Spider-Man's like, you know what? I need to really think about this decision before I make a decision. I really need to think about this. And so Thor's like, you know what? You have 24 hours to make your decision. Stop on by with the Avengers HQ, and then we'll put you through a test, and we'll talk about it. So Spider-Man's like, all right. And so here we go. Spider-Man's going to have to really think about this. You know, he lives with his Aunt May. He has his own private life that the Avengers have no idea about. So Peter Parker has a lot to think about. He returns to his home in Forest Hills. You know, he has a lot to think about. He gets on his motorcycle, tries to think about things. He goes to a coffee shop, he comes back home. He's tired. He's just has a lot on his mind, as you can see. But we see finally Peter Parker comes to his decision, and that is, you know what? Fate has given me these powers for a reason, and Thor's right. If fate's given me these powers for a reason, then I should use them to fight crime, and why not join a team of crime fighters? And so Spider-Man finally comes to the conclusion, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop by the Avengers headquarters, and I'm going to basically agree to join. So here we go. Spider-Man swings on by to the Avengers headquarters, and here we go. For the first time, we have Spider-Man meeting up with the Avengers, and just like this is a pretty historic moment here where Spider-Man, it looks to me, he's going to join the Avengers. Everybody's pretty happy about him making the decision. But of course, Captain America says, you know what, you're going to have to be put through a test first. And he's like, what test? What are you talking about? And Iron Man's like, well, don't question Captain America. Look, just don't breathe down our necks. And this sets Spider-Man off. He gets impatient and he loses his temper. And so this is not good. So Spider-Man pretty much launches an attack on Hawkeye, and we have a big fight just ensue right here amongst the Avengers and Spider-Man. They're trying to calm Spider-Man down. Spider-Man, and I mean, he's attacking everybody. He even, attacks Giant Man. He even attacks Captain America, and Captain America is like, never do that again. And so Captain America finally comes to the conclusion after this whole fight that, you know what, we've been trying to track down the Hulk for quite some time. If you can bring the Hulk to us, then you will become a full-fledged member of this team. And Spider-Man's like, oh, that's nothing. I can do that in my sleep. So Spider-Man agrees to the terms, but he leaps quick enough where Captain America cannot explain the objectives. So Spider-Man's task here is to find the Hulk and bring him back to the Avengers. And so that's going to be quite some task. We see right here Spider-Man stops on by to the Daily Bugle. He gets a drink of water. It's pretty funny stuff here. Just awesome artwork by John Romita here. And here we go. As we saw from Foswell here, that Hulk has been sighted near the Gamma Ray Research Center. And so, lo and behold, there is the Hulk. And we're going to see one big fight between Spider-Man and the Hulk. We haven't seen Spider-Man and the Hulk fight each other since, issue number 14. And so this has been quite some time since Spider-Man and Hulk have fought against each other. Spider-Man tries his very best, but Hulk is pretty unstoppable. He is just a raging machine. Nothing really seems to stop him except for this one punch. Hulk punches the gamma ray testing device. He turns back to Bruce Banner, and so Spider-Man, for the first time, realizes that Hulk is really not much of a threat because the identity of the Hulk is none other than this, weak, uh, you know, Dr. Bruce Banner. And so Bruce Banner pretty much explains in a nutshell how he became the Hulk. And, Spider-Man has a lot of sympathy for the Hulk. He's like, man, the Avengers have been sending me to find the Hulk to stop him, but the Hulk is just like an unleashed animal that doesn't really understand what he's doing. And so Spider-Man, he has a moral. I think he thinks about his morals here. He's like, I could pretty much send him back to the Avengers, But then they're going to make mincemeat out of him, and it's just not right. He's like a wounded animal. And so Hulk finally snaps the webbing that Spider-Man pretty much put him in, and Spider-Man lets the Hulk go. He just can't bring Hulk back to the Avengers out of just his morality, pretty much. So Spider-Man comes back to the Avengers HQ. He's like, you know what? He lies here, and he says he couldn't find the Hulk. And we find out that the Avengers weren't going to harm the Hulk. They just wanted to help the Hulk. And this would have maybe, you know, if Spider-Man knew about this, then Spider-Man may have joined the Avengers, but he didn't know about that, and he thought that the Avengers were actually tracking down the Hulk to harm him. And so Spider-Man comes to the decision he's just not cut out to be a part of a team, that he's always destined to be a loner. And it's pretty, I mean, it ends on a pretty somber note here. Peter Parker returns back to his house, and he's like, you know, even when I win, I still lose. When am I ever going to win in life? And so that's how we end this issue here. Hope you enjoyed this exciting issue right here with Spider-Man fighting the Hulk and Spider-Man almost joining the Avengers. And so next time we're going to look at Amazing Spider-Man issue number 42. Hope to see you there. And as always, keep reading comics.